Hey everyone, it's Lizzie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys two paycheck budgets. They are just for a couple of days apart. So it's for the 27th and the 29th. And I figured I would do everything in one video because I think it would be so much easier that way. But I will be showing you my budget, and then we'll go into stuffing my cash envelopes using my new wallet that I got. I'm so excited about it. I think it's so cute and functional. If you guys are interested in seeing that, then keep on watching. So my budget videos are pretty much the same, so I won't bore you with all of like the nitpicky details, but there are a few things that I do want to point out that is very important. One thing that you want to consider when you are doing a paycheck budget. Now, I don't just do paycheck budgets. I do a monthly breakdown of my budget. So I do a monthly budget, and then I break that budget down paycheck to paycheck. So you start off with your full month budget, and that gives you that guide. So I'll go ahead and show you November's. I will be just now filming December's budget, but this is November. So I like to write everything in, and this is a tip that the budget mom gives, and this is what I've been doing since I started budgeting, even before I saw her actually. But I have everything written on a calendar, all of the bills that are due, all of that, and then I go ahead and I make up my monthly budget. So this is the monthly budget for November, and I use this as the guide with my envelopes, so the sinking funds, the expenses. I use this as my guide for my paycheck budget. So with the bills that are coming due, I have a bill tracker, which is right here. This is the bill tracker, and this is essential for my paycheck budget. I write in all of the expenses, the due dates, and then I put in the amount that is due and each of my paycheck dates right across. And this allows me to break down my expenses. So this seriously is the most important part. Well, all of it is really important, but this is essential for breaking down your paychecks. And this is what I use when I'm filling in my expense portion. Sorry if you hear dogs in the background. I have another dog that I'm watching, so just side note. But this is super, super important when you are writing in your paycheck budget. So I'm gonna repeat this. You start with your monthly budget, you make your estimates, and be realistic when you are estimating like those variable expenses. Estimate a little bit higher, that way you know you have enough funds set aside for that particular pay. Then the next thing you'll do is you're gonna break that budget down week by week. So paycheck to paycheck, right? So it all depends on how often you get paid. In our household, things have changed a bit, and I will get into that in just a few minutes. But things have changed. Our paycheck schedules is no longer my husband getting paid weekly and me getting paid bi-monthly. We are now only gonna be receiving 4 paychecks a month for the both of us combined. So I am working on tweaking this come December, and it's gonna take some adjusting to a few things, but with this and my budget, I think we can make it work. So do your monthly budget, break things down by your bill tracker, paycheck to paycheck, and then go ahead and start your paycheck budget. So I just had to explain that because I think it's really important. Now, I went ahead and I wrote in all of my expenses based on my bill tracker here. So for the 27th, which is right here, as you can see, I've already written this in, so I've already checked these off. So I just write in on my paycheck budget the amounts that I have already divided up of how much we are gonna set aside for this particular expense. So this is super simple, and I'll hold it so that if you guys are looking to set something up yourself, you can use this as like a template. But if you don't want to, or you don't have time to do it yourself, I do have this available on my Etsy shop, and everything is always linked in the description box below. So you can just download this and get it for yourself. So yeah, this is all of the expenses totaled, $601.68. And then when you take your income and subtract any giving that you do, I do set aside tithes. So that's how much we set aside, which is 10% of our paycheck. So that leaves us not with quite a lot, but it is perfectly fine with us because this was the week that we were away. So we really didn't do any of the need to set aside anything for cash envelopes because we had already planned for that the prior week. So I kind of prepared, and also we're going through a job transition for this pay. So $75.70 was what was left over, and we only needed to set aside funds for groceries for the following week since we now have a gap between our paychecks. So I will explain that in the next page. But the total amount of cash that I withdrew for this is the groceries and also our giving, so the tithe. So it's $150, the total cash that I withdrew for this paycheck. And this is my most recent pay. So it's just a couple of days apart, so it's not too bad. So what I did is, since it was just a couple of days, I hadn't used the gas money yet because 2 days apart, I didn't need to. So the beginning balance was the gas money that we set aside for that prior page. So $80.70 is what was in the account that we did not use. And then this is the next pay. So adding everything up comes to $1193.58. 10% of the paycheck, I just brought it up a little bit, so it's $112. So I withdrew that in cash. And then the same thing, using my bill tracker for the 29th, I will go ahead and hold this up so you guys can follow along a little bit. For the 29th, I went ahead and I set aside all of these expenses. So I've already, like I said, broke things down based on the due date, when the bill is due, what the total is, and if it's a smaller amount, I'll just set it aside for the specific day. So this is due on the 7th. My next pay is not until the 12th, so I know I have to keep that in my bank account so that bill gets auto drafted. Same thing for this ID theft, it's $12.90. Due on the 9th. My next paycheck is not until the 12th. So I know I have to set that funds aside. So that's something that you should keep in mind, especially if you are a beginner to this whole budgeting world and how to break up your paychecks and your expenses and really how to be ahead of your bills. This is a great way so that you can figure out, okay, if you want to be, some people feel comfortable being a month ahead. This is a great tool so that you can figure that number out and break it down paycheck to paycheck. So I am all about breaking things down, making it simple. So that is that. So the total for the expenses comes to $667.78. So these are all of the fixed expenses and also some variable down here at the bottom. So now the total remaining funds that we have to give a place for. So I am a big believer, and I learned this from Dave Ramsey when I attended Financial Peace University. He says you have to give every dollar a job. So this $413 is not just going to be sitting in my bank account, because I want to make sure that we give a place for this and assign it something to do for this coming 2 weeks. So $413.80. So now this is the part where I'm going to get into information about what has changed in our budget. So as you may or may not know, I get paid bi-monthly. So I get paid on the 15th of every month, and I get paid on the last day of every month. And so let me show you December really quickly. So this is a few things that has changed. I my pay lands on the 15th, but since it's a weekend, I will get paid on Friday. And then also on the last day of the month. So as you see, this is a pretty big gap. 2 weeks without me receiving a pay. But luckily, my husband, he is getting paid bi-weekly now. So he just started a different job, and now we are going to be no longer receiving income every week. So he is getting paid twice a week on Thursdays. So I marked it here in with the little dollar sign, the weeks that he is going to be receiving a paycheck. So that being said, my budget for groceries is always $300 for the month. Or, if it's 1 week extra in the month, then I will budget $375. But $300, so that's $75 a week. So now this is where things get interesting. So we are on the last day of November. So we're gonna be up here. So this is somewhere in November, right? So we have to budget $75 for this week. And then our next pay is not until the end of the week. So we still need to purchase $75 worth of food for this week. So that means I will have to set aside $75 plus an additional $75 for this week. So that is why on the 27th, so the last pay that you saw that's behind here, I set aside $75 for groceries. And then for this pay, so it's the same week, I usually only set aside $75, but I have to be ahead of the game. So this week I also have to withdraw an additional $75 so that we have $75 from the paycheck of the 27th. I hope I'm making sense. If I do, say I get it in the comments, but $75 set aside for this week for groceries. And then from that 29th paycheck, I need to set aside an additional $75 to cover us for this week. And I will have to do the same thing for here, for these paychecks. So on the 12th, I will do the same thing, set aside $75 for this week. And then on the 13th, I will have to take out funds for $75 worth of groceries for this week. So if that makes sense, hit the thumbs up button. And yeah, hopefully I explained that correctly. But that's what I did here. So we withdrew $75. We have our budget for December written up. I will be filming that in just a bit, but everything is on Every Dollar, which is a website. It's an app. I talk all about it in this video right up here. I'll link it above. But it's super helpful. We've already planned out our December budget. I just have to get it on paper. So this is the amount of money that we budgeted out to set aside for car maintenance, home, pet, spending, and toiletries. So I have withdrawn an entire month's worth of what our budget was set up for our cash envelopes. And the reason being why I did this is because we have a goal of putting funds into car fund. I am in the works of getting a new to me car and returning our car lease. So yeah, it's gonna be very challenging, but any extra funds, any other ways that we can save, we are gonna put it towards car fund. But for this is what we had to do. And so the total cash for these envelopes is $219. So what I said about giving every one of these dollars a job. So we're gonna take the $413.80, right? That's what we had left over. We just figured out how much we are gonna be setting aside because of my monthly budget that I had set up for. So because it's the last day of the month, we have to plan for the 2 weeks ahead and for that following month because the month of November is over. It's over, which is crazy. I cannot believe we're at the end of the year already, but we still want to give every one of these dollars a job. So we've already assigned $219 of these dollars. And so now we're left with $194.80. We still need to give a place for these $194. So what I did and what we decided is we're going to be putting funds back into our emergency because we had something happen where we had to go to the doctor and the bill was $108. and we had to pull it from our emergency fund, that fund. So now I'm just gonna put it back. And then the difference, we're just putting it to our car savings, which is $86.80 is what's left over. So the total amount is $194.80 that's going to savings. So the first step is to work the baby steps. Dave Ramsey talks about it. I will not figure out a new way of doing something that already works. So what he recommends is having your starter emergency fund, then paying off debt as baby step 2. So as you see, I have a little line here that we are not paying extra towards debt at the moment. But that is because if you have an upcoming expense, you know something is going to happen. You are expecting this to come up, right? This expense, if you know that you, let's say if you're expecting a child, anything like that, that's major, you have to stop all of the baby steps and pile up as much money as possible. So that is what we're doing with the car fund. My lease is coming due in March. I have to turn in that car because we no longer want to be in car debt. So I'm just writing it through until March, and we are saving as much money as we can so that I can find a car before I have to turn in my car lease, right? I need a car. So we have to figure out, okay, what is, what kind of car I'm gonna get. I have to pay for the tags, the registration, and then also we have to save because I know I'm gonna have to owe something to the leasing company because I'm over in my mileage, guys. I'm over in my mileage, and there's really nothing I can do about it, and it's just one of those things that we have to deal with, and this is what makes sense to us. I wish that I wasn't over my mileage, but I am where I am, so I can't change it. All I can do is figure out what we can do so that we're prepared when I turn in the car. So that's why we are setting aside everything that we can. Any extra, any other earning side jobs is going to go toward that car fund. So hopefully that explains everything. But now that I probably talk too much, sorry guys, I get really passionate about finances and stuff and budgeting, so I tend to ramble. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the cash, and I will be right back so we can stuff these cash envelopes. Okay, so I have my wallet, all the cash laid out, and my budget here. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up and get to budgeting, or get to stuffing these cash envelopes. So this is the wallet. I did share it in my last video, but this is what the wallet looks like. It's a binder system, and these are the envelopes that came with it. I have everything laid out of what I would typically keep in my wallet, which is really not that much money. I never carry a whole bunch of money with me, so this just goes in my wallet, or this is the wallet that I use now. So yeah, I just wanted to show you all this. So we're gonna go ahead and get to stuffing this. The first thing that I will be pulling out is my giving envelope, and I have it in these laminated envelopes. Everything that I use is always linked in the description box, so if you ever have a question about it, just check down there, or you could just leave me a comment. So the giving, I had set aside $75 from the prior paycheck, so the 27th. And then for this one, I had set aside $112. So we're gonna take $75 from the prior pay. And then also $1, $110, $111, and $112. Just get this organized. Okay. So this I will be taking with me to church tomorrow. So I'm just gonna stick this in here. Okay. And now the next thing that I will be setting aside is for groceries. And groceries I do have in here. And that is, oops. right here, grocery envelope. Right now there's nothing in the grocery envelope, but I did set aside $75 from one pay and then $75 for this one. So that's 2 weeks worth. And I'm just gonna slide it in here. Okay. And I'm just gonna put the 29th state. And then we're added 150. So the balance now is 150. All right. Now the next item is car maintenance, and that I don't have in my wallet because I will only use it when I need to do a car maintenance on my car. So currently we have $140, or oh my gosh, 140. We have $40 in the car maintenance, and we're gonna add another 40. So go ahead and take 2 20s. And I'll do 11.29. We added 40. So we now have $80 in here. All right. The next item is for the home that I do have in here, which is this one. And there's nothing in here. I haven't really stuffed this envelope in some time, but we're just gonna go ahead and fill this out, and it's $10. Go ahead and stuff this. I wonder why that's happening. It's like, there we go. Okay, so that's in there. Next item is pet. And that one is, where's pet? Right here. There is currently $21 left over from the cash envelopes, and we're gonna go ahead and add 60. So there's gonna be 81. Okay. 20, 40, 60. There's 81 now. Okay. Fits nicely in there. Next item is the spending envelope, and that is this one with all the clothes and things. So spending is just getting $24. That's 21, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. Still getting used to these envelopes, so. And then the last one, I am using these arrows as toiletries. So that's what I've decided to use this for. And this is getting this last $10. Okay. I don't like that you have to like, I think it's just still new, so it's kind of tight in the bottom. All right, so $11.29 added the $10. And this pen is going back. And that is all of the cash envelopes stuffed, and I'm ready to go for the week. So if you guys have any questions at all about this wallet or the systems I use, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. But that is everything for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in a brand new video. Bye guys!